Hello, my friend. Hope everything is going well for you today. Hello, Laura. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to the Soul Group meeting. Hello, Quasar. Scott. Hello, my friend. Feels like it's been a while since I've talked to you. Hope life is treating you well. Welcome in, everybody, to the Soul Group meeting. Glad things are going good for you, my friend. Really excited to get going with our live tonight. Last night's live for our Soul Group was absolutely fantastic. And by the way, while I'm remembering to mention that, I have started downloading the live replays and then uploading them to my YouTube channel for anybody who's interested. If you want to go back and see what you've missed, or if we've talked about something really interesting and you want to go back and revisit it, whatever that looks like for you, it is uploaded on YouTube if you guys are interested. And there is a link in my bio for the YouTube channel. Thank you, Lois. I appreciate that. Oh, and by the way, check out my new shirt I got. It's really awesome. I don't know if you guys can read that. It's backwards. Hang on a second. Let me fix that. There you go. That's debatable. I'm not sure what's debatable. But this is a shirt from one of our beloved Soul Group members who sent it to me as a gift. And so I thought in her honor I would wear this for our live tonight. Super excited about that. For any of you guys who did not catch the news, there was a massive X-Class solar flare last night. Hello, Rosie. It is big news because this is the largest solar flare that we've had in the last 6 years at least. Not anything to be upset or panic about, but it certainly will cause some geomagnetic unrest later this weekend. I'm doing good, Rosie. Thank you for the certainly will cause some geomagnetic unrest later this weekend. I'm doing good, Rosie. Thank you for the but it caused a much larger radio blackout than anticipated. In fact, the authorities on the topic of space weather and the Earth basically said that the radio blackout was perhaps the biggest we've ever seen. Thank you, Noel. I appreciate that. I appreciate your rose. I wish I was where I could see the northern lights. Where are you at, my friend? If you don't mind me asking, because you might yet get that opportunity. Oh, thank you, Rosie. Thank you, my friend. Southwest Florida. Well, it might yet happen, right? It's not supposed to, but in the last 2 years, there have been low-latitude auroras visible all throughout the southern United States, all of the way down into Arizona. And I know that Florida is further south than that, but these were very minor geomagnetic disturbances. Hello, Rachel. Right after it shows. So, why am I talking about this and why is that important? Just like those low latitude aurora that are visible in the southern states that have been 5 times in the last year and a half, which, by the way, should not have been possible, right? Because the geomagnetic disturbances were minor or weak in most cases. These were not massive X-class solar flares or massive coronal hole streams. They were minor in comparison to some of the ones that we've taken in the last decade or two. And we did not experience those low latitude auroras. Very similarly, last night's X-class solar flare was a big solar flare. But it was not gigantic by any stretch of the imagination. We've had bigger in the last decade for sure. I'm doing good, Rachel. How are you doing? Snow's laugh out loud. Yeah. So the radio blackout stretched all over the entire continent of South America, all of the way up to the southern United States. Perhaps the largest we've ever recorded, according to NOAA. That's huge because that solar flare was not big enough to cause that big of a disturbance. There have been dozens of events in the last 5 years, including the low latitude auroras and this large radio blackout. The satellites that were launched by Elon Musk, there were over 100 of them completely taken out immediately after being placed in orbit by a minor solar flare. All of these things should not be possible if the geomagnetic field, the shield of Earth, was as strong as what they are saying it is. In truth, the field strength has not been released in quite some time. It used to be released like clockwork. But then the last time they released the numbers, they said we went from losing 5% per century of our field strength to 5% per decade, which is exponential decay in statistics. That is a scary number to see. What does that mean? That means we are losing the field, the electromagnetic shielding of Earth at an alarming rate. It's not that we're losing it. It's not disappearing, right? We are in the middle of a geomagnetic pole flip. This is widely known throughout science. The magnetic North Pole and the South Pole are moving at exponential rates. They've always wandered around a little bit, moving a mile or two this way or that way. But then, beginning with the Carrington event, which is a massive solar flare in the 1850s, whenever that happened, everything changed. And it sparked an electro or geomagnetic polar reversal. And it has been happening ever since then. But it's been going very slow up until the last decade. And then it has began to grow quite rapidly. Exactly. Happened before, but no need to worry when it flips, though. I don't know if I would say no need to worry. Because although it has happened several times, there's thousands and thousands of years of records in just about every single discipline of science that shows record of these geomagnetic pole flips. And people always survived that in the past, right? But at the same time, there is fossil records showing mass extinctions on the planet, massive dips in the flora and fauna around the planet, sedimentary deposits on top of mountain ranges, forests underneath hundreds of feet of ice, that sort of thing. So we know from those records that it can be bad. That doesn't mean that it absolutely has to be bad. But if you guys have listened to me before, which I think most of you guys have, hello again, Andy. And by the way, hey Anna, sorry you snuck in there on me. Most of you guys know that I believe that this is part of a natural cycle to restore balance on the planet. And it's primarily energetic. So I don't think that this is by any stretch of the imagination some terrible earth-shattering event. It's certainly not the end of the world. I think it is a necessary step in evolution for us to get from the old Earth into the new Earth, from the 3D into the 5D, further cementing the age of Aquarius in our reality. Hey Aaron, hello Beth. I hope you guys are all doing well. We're just talking about the X-class solar flare that went off last night. Thank you again for the roses, Noel. Hello, Aaron. Not only did that happen, we've also had a few other flares since then. Thank you for the hand hearts. And the main reason I wanted to talk about this is because the flare caused a much larger radio blackout than anticipated. That is a key indicator of our field strength. Thank you for the gummy bear, my friend. Soul fan. Really, to me, it just means we should be expecting more and more of those things. As time goes on, thank you for the rose, my friend. Oh, I appreciate you. Intelligence should be rewarded. Very kind of you. As time goes on, these rare events are going to become less and less rare. Hello, Arlena. Welcome in, my friend. Such as the low latitude aurora, right? In the last 50 years, oh, thank you, Aaron, for your resubscription, my friend. Very kind of you. Sorry about all of the issues that they were giving you with your information. Hey, Brock. In the last 50 years, we had low latitude auroras like twice. Very rarely. That might even been in the last century. Got tired of waiting on them. Well, thank you, my friend, as always. And then the last year and a half, that has happened 5 times with much weaker geomagnetic storms. That is a key indicator of where our geomagnetic field is at. And of course, these are all indicators, again, of the geomagnetic poles flipping, right? Which is one thing to talk purely about that from the physical standpoint. But my topic and the way that I like to look at this is on a spiritual nature. Because, oh, thank you for the hand heart, my friend. Thank you. Oh, thank you for your subscription, Noel. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for supporting me. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you, Aaron. You guys are so awesome. Noel, if you could, please send me a DM after the live or at some point so I can connect with you. Polarity conscious shifting, perhaps. Here's the thing. I don't think anything is purely physical. I think that we live in an energetic universe. Everything is energy, vibrating at different intensities and frequencies. It appears to be very solid and physical, but that is a manifestation of energy, of consciousness, in my opinion. And very much like you just said, polarity consciousness, right? There will be very profound spiritual and energetic changes that happen along with this pole flip. That is my contention. That is what I'm completely convinced of. Aaron, you're so awesome. I absolutely love this group of stardust-filled humans. That is so awesome. And ditto on that, by the way. So, you guys have probably heard, or several of you guys have heard me talk about Edgar Cayce and his readings, talking about this. Because his later readings, oh, I'm glad that you found those thumbnails already. I'm sorry, the emotes, that's what they're called, yeah. But thank you for sharing that, Noel. Edgar Cayce talked a lot about the earth changes that would happen, that would begin happening. According to him, it really kicked off in 1998. And he said that it would begin to grow expeditiously in 2012, which many of you guys know there was a massive alignment in 2012 to where all of the planets were in perfect alignment, pointing directly at the center of our galaxy. And that is a really rare event. It does not happen that frequently. And things began to change a lot. If you look at weather patterns that have happened since then, there's an awful lot of 1,000-year floods going around, or millennial droughts, or birds acting crazy, sea life washing up on the shore in droves. All of these sorts of things are all linked to these earth changes, according to Edgar Cayce, and I completely believe that myself. And the veil, Noel. I definitely want to get to that. We can't talk about the spiritual and energetic implications of this without mentioning the veil, right? I've got my own personal theory about that. Andy says, and that's when the Mayan calendar shifted in 2012 as well. Yes, exactly. I think that was vastly misunderstood by a lot of people. Oh, wow, Brock. Thank you for your resubscription. You guys are so awesome. Thank you so much, you guys. It's showing me the love already. Climate change due to fossil fuel CO2 population emissions. Um, Climate change is a very real thing. I do not deny that one bit. But I personally believe the vast majority of climate change that we see with climate shifting in the world is due to a natural cycle. It is because of the energy changing with our sun. Astrophysicists know that the chemical composition, the output of our star, the sun, has changed. It's now producing a higher rate of helium. The wavelength of light it is emitting is a higher frequency of light. It looks more white when you look at it in the sky than it once did. That is the driver of climate on Earth. It is the energy that impacts the Earth from space. And then you couple that with the geomagnetic polar reversal, with the magnetic field weakening and the poles wandering. It's going to have physical effects on the planet, right? I love astrophysics, definitely. So, what is the spiritual implications of this? That is my primary area of focus, or one of the main ones. I feel like I can see the sun at sunset differently. Very interesting. All of this climate change would have been less impactful had we stopped burning fossil fuels and they didn't hide free energy. Now, I completely agree with you on that, Aaron. That's not to say that we have not done terrible things to this planet, that we have not raped and pillaged and plundered and polluted the earth, all in the name of greed. And it is completely unnecessary. And I am completely against any and all of that, right? And we have certainly had an impact on the planet. But there's more going on than meets the eye that climatologists are not talking about. And that's because funding, right? Everything in our society is ruled by the almighty dollar. And scientists, even though they might be trying to do their best to play their part, they have to structure studies in accordance with funding, right? Because they know if they don't get the next funding check, then they no longer get to continue doing their research and their work, which is tremendously important for humanity. So, one of the unfortunate side effects of capitalism. That's why they say don't look at the sun. Spiritual implications are that we gain strength. There is a lot going on with the energy of the sun. Edgar Casey, in his readings talking about the earth changes, said this is not purely physical. That will not only change things on our planet. The poles are weakened due to excessive heat trapped by the CO2 greenhouse gases. Jimbo, you'll have to explain to me how heat can have that effect on a geomagnetic pole, because I am uncertain of that. And I do agree with you, Noel. Lithium mining is certainly no good. So, he said, along with the physical changes on the earth, that there would be spiritual changes, energetically, and that the sun would be the driver of these changes. Basically, that as the sun began to vibrate at a higher frequency, emitting a higher wavelength of light, that energy would impact the earth. The earth would vibrate at a higher frequency, which we have seen reflected in the Schumann resonance. And then, since we are electromagnetically coupled with the earth, thank you for the hand hearts, my friend, our bodies also begin to vibrate at a higher frequency with the earth and with the sun. And he said that would be the mechanism. Oh, wow, thank you for the paper crane. Those are so beautiful. If you're talking about the earth and sun are one and work that way. Cactus Cletus. I'm not saying they are one, but they are electromagnetically coupled. That is a known phenomenon that has been studied and peer-reviewed and is widely known throughout astrophysics. What happens within one system happens to another, especially whenever our star is the primary source of all energy on Earth. It was once believed that the climate existed completely independent of the energy from our sun. We now know that is not the case. The sun causes things like earthquakes. It causes things like increased volcanism. It causes climatic changes. The charged particle precipitation increases cloud cover. It increases 1,000-year floods, right? It increases all sorts of weather pattern shifting based on what's going on the sun. That effect is pretty well known and documented now. The moon, though, yeah, everything is connected. Nothing exists in a vacuum. So, along with the physical changes, according to Edgar Cayce, those frequency connections coming to us from the light of our sun and that energy impacts the earth, impacts us. We begin to vibrate at a higher frequency. And he said eventually we would develop new chakra centers for a total of 12 major chakras within our body, and that our bodies would become less dense physically, would become lighter physically as we vibrated higher naturally. And that eventually on the other side of this shift would be what has been prophesied of the 1,000 years of peace, or the kingdom of God, essentially. I was thinking of the sun as the divine masculine and the moon as the divine feminine. That's how the energy manifests, by the way. And that's definitely the way that I see it. Resonates with me on a deep soul level. I definitely think you're onto something there, Aaron. We're all connected. Everything has frequencies which can be controlled or changed to a degree. Exactly. The sleeping prophet. Christ consciousness. Exactly. That's exactly what we're talking about. So, here's something that's really interesting, and I know several of you guys have heard this before, but for those of you who haven't. Oh wow, Rosie, thank you for your subscription. You guys are so awesome. Please send me a DM, Rosie, so I can connect with you and send you some information. Our ancestors knew this and lived by it for a reason. You are dead right on that. We are definitely affecting each other right now. Thank you, Rosie. I really appreciate you, my friend. That's very kind of you. Edgar Cayce said this 1,000 years of peace would be achieved primarily because our bodies would vibrate at such a higher frequency that the uteruses of women worldwide would vibrate at such a high frequency that lower vibrational entities would no longer be able to take root in the uterus of women worldwide, and so would no longer be able to incarnate in this physical realm. And effectively, women will be the gatekeepers by weeding out the lower frequency entities, the lower vibrational souls, those who have chosen not to follow this path of doing the hard work, love, high vibrational things, choosing to do the work on ourselves and evolve spiritually, right? Several prophets, several people have mentioned this specific period of time that we are each faced with that very decision. And I think that decision is being made right now. We're being asked to choose. Are we going to be part of the problem, or are we going to be part of the solution? We have to help correct the imbalance in the world. And that's what we're all doing here right now. We're playing our part in that. We are absolutely the front line. And women, there's a little bit more of an interplay into that, as with women as the gatekeepers. And I've only known this for a couple of months now. I finally pieced this together. And that burden, or that role, let's say, doesn't fall entirely on the divine feminine. It is a harmony between the divine feminine and the divine masculine. Because in order for women to hold that high vibration, they must be provided with a safe space with the divine masculine protecting that energy, protecting that space to increase and raise the frequency and the vibration. It's the yin and the yang. It is the polarity of both sides. You can't have an imbalance in the world and expect balance, right? Like we have now and have for thousands and thousands of years. And we can't just look at one side of the equation. We have to look at the totality of both sides. I love that. It makes sense for me. Edgar Casey for the win, for sure. We have always been the portals here, bringing life into this plane. Exactly. That's what it means to be a woman. There's a reason. There's a reason why women are much more intuitive, because of the divine feminine energy. We all have the divine feminine and the divine masculine within us, right? But your energy is primarily expressed as divine feminine. And as such, it is naturally closer to intuitive energies, much like the moon, right? The moon is a representation of intuition, whereas the sun is very masculine and it is representative of force, action, decision, life, those sorts of things. The moon is receptive, it is intuitive, it is connection, all of those things. It is nurturing. Completely lost where I was going with that. But yes, you hold a portal to the spirit world, and as such, I personally believe you are naturally more in tune with that connection. And since we're on this topic, I don't know if you guys seen this or not, and I wish I would have saved the link when I come across it. But scientists released a video that they had captured with this new type of microscope, and I wish I could remember even the name of the technology. But they caught on film the moment of conception, and they've done this before. It wasn't the first time they've recorded that. But what was the first time is them being able to record the moment of conception with light. And what they discovered is that the moment that the sperm and the egg are joined together, at the moment of conception, there is a burst of light that is emitted, the spark of life. And to me, that was just absolutely astounding. I love that. The sun can supply all the power we need by converting it to heat, steam, electric, and hydrogen. Absolutely, Jimbo. And well beyond that. If you guys really look into Einstein's famous equation of E equals mc squared, if you look into that, that right there really tells you all that we need to know. Because the equation says energy is equal to mass times the speed of light squared. That's what E equals mc squared means. So if you can calculate the mass of any given object, say anything, a rock that is outside, a tree that is growing in your front yard, calculate the mass of that and then multiply it by the speed of light squared. That is how much energy is contained within that tree or that rock. If we learn to unlock the energy potential of those objects of matter, there is no energy crisis. Nikola Tesla proved this in the 1800s. There is no energy crisis. Energy is everywhere. Everything is energy. To think that we are in an energy crisis is absurdity. What we are in is a crisis of imagination and a crisis of wisdom. Our wisdom has been outpaced by our intellect, and that is a dangerous thing. As above, so below. Exactly. Love seeing you guys talk with each other. Love it. I truly hope my daughter can experience this in her life. Absolutely. And I believe it will be so, my friend. I truly do. Thank you, Andy. I appreciate you, my friend. the soul maybe. I'm not really sure if that's what it is or if it's just the seed of life. Circle protection, or is that circle protect? Okay. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right or not, but I would love KK to speak more about Edgar Cayce. The Kabbalists, the ancient Kabbalists, believed that the soul, traditionally, not meaning that this is a rule, but maybe that this is the norm according to them, is that the soul enters the body upon the body taking the first breath of life. And that prior to that, the soul would hover around the mother, would follow the mother around, scoping out the environment, the energy, the lay of the land, as it were, and acting as a protector up until the moment of the first breath of life. And I think that resonates with me as truth. Now, I don't believe that that has to absolutely be always the case, but I think that that makes sense. Let me get through my comments, KK, and I will talk more about Edgar Cayce. It also shows that everything is nothing, and that's why we only exist in the now. Exactly. That is a very profound physics equation. It truly proves everything is energy. Jimbo says, I absolutely agree. Perhaps many of this group will be meeting each other in the physical world as a retreat with fire. I love that, Andy. I love that idea. Thank you for that cheerleading there, Brock. I appreciate you. And I did not even realize that I met that goal. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, Brock. You're so awesome. Thank you, everybody, for choosing to support me and helping me to reach that subscription goal. That is truly huge. The more that you guys do that, the more I am able to focus on what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm planning, most of you guys know right now, I'm transitioning away from trading my time for money and investing more with my calling and spreading my truth, spreading my experiences, and growing this community as much as I possibly can. Potato cut in half, exactly. Electricity, energy is everywhere. Love the kids singing in the background. Thank you, Arlena. There's no telling what you might hear in the background. The baby spirit picked their parents, perhaps. According to the Kabbalists, yes, they do. And I do believe that. I believe that we pick the circumstances of our birth before our incarnation. There is a meeting of the souls. Again, this is my personal belief. But it is not a new belief. This is one that is ancient as well. They believe that the souls come together and have a meeting and agree, hey, these are the lessons I need to learn. I think if we were to be incarnated together in this environment during this time, you could work on your goals, and I can work on my goals, and we'll do this together. We'll kind of bounce this off of each other, and I can help you to learn what you need to learn, and you can help me learn what I need to learn. And that's the way, souls work through karmic ties, which according to Edgar Cayce is why waves of souls incarnate together. Because once you live a life with 2 or 3 people or whoever it is, your karma, your energy tends to become entangled because of the nature of the physical third dimension. We become enmeshed in matter, and our karmas become interwoven with each other. And so then it becomes necessary to live another lifetime with the same people in order to pay those karmic debts, to learn the lessons, or whatever it is, right? And in most cases, I don't think we're looking at a lifetime or 2. We're looking at a long series of lifetimes. And so waves wind up incarnating in waves over and over and over again. Exactly, Rosie. Energy only changes form. Thank you, Rosie. I really appreciate you, my friend. I'm going to message you about that separately. Awesome. I'm looking forward to it, Aaron. And it says soul contracts. I think I need a soul lawyer. That is so awesome. Thank you, Heather. It's awesome to meet you, my friend. Thank you all for the follows, by the way. I appreciate you guys. Andy says, I also believe that they come from the Cathedral of the Souls. Yes, exactly. I appreciate you, Rosie. Okay, so back to this concept. Hello, Kelly. Welcome in, my friend. Look what I'm wearing. Thank you, my friend, for the shirt. An interesting thing that happens. Hello, One Pebble. Welcome in. We are truly brothers and sisters. No doubt. I do not doubt that one bit. This shirt is a gift from one of the members of our beautiful soul community here. She sent me a whole bunch of blessings, and I am truly grateful for that. Thank you, my friend. No more gerbil will for me. There's a lot of that going around right now. What are your thoughts on who built the pyramids? I'll tell you what, Jimbo and KK, I will answer both of your questions by combining both of those topics at the same time. How about that? We're going to talk more about Edgar Cayce and who built the pyramid, so I can weave both of those together. No, Rosie, actually this was Kelly, Apple Spice Blends on here. So, one of the things that tend to happen, according to Edgar Cayce and other sources, since souls' karmas become intertwined, and they incarnate over and over again in waves, blushing. Have you heard what Proctor said about looking back over your shoulder? No, please share that. There is, according to Edgar Cayce, a massive influx of souls being incarnated right now, primarily from the ancient civilization of Atlantis, because we are moving into the age of Aquarius. And during the peak of the last golden age was the peak of the civilization of Atlantis. And again, this happens because our souls become intertwined with one another karmically and energetically. Now, according to Edgar Cayce, since we're talking more about him and we want to talk about who built the pyramids, here's what happened. According to Edgar Cayce, and I must say, for somebody who has been obsessed with Atlantis their entire life since I was a small child, I've always felt a strong connection there. This story of all of them I've heard and read resonates the most as truth with me. I love this so much. Well, I love talking about it. It's one of my favorite topics. Then it is safe to say God is real or no. I cannot answer that question for you. All I can give you is my truth. And my truth is yes, God exists, but not as a parental figure sitting on a throne in the sky, casting judgment upon all of creation. For me, God exists as you and me, and the birds in the sky, and the air in the sky, and the trees, and all of the animals. All life is made manifest as part of the same vast sea of energetic consciousness that in totality is God. That is the way that I see it. Sounds like Atlantis could be part of your blueprint. I certainly think so. So let me get back to that topic. Even flowers have an aura. They all do. Absolutely. I'm glad you stopped in. I am very glad you stopped in, my friend. Thank you for that. Maybe God is energy. That is my assumption. That is what I believe. But that energy is consciousness as well. God is everywhere, as you say, Rosie. Okay, so let's get back on topic with Atlantis, according to Edgar Cayce. So this is a very intricate and involved story, so I'm going to have to give the Cliff Notes version of it. But according to Edgar Cayce, there is a cyclical disaster that happens on this planet that is linked with the sun, It is linked with the center of our galaxy. And I'm not going to go too far into that, but roughly every 12,000 years, there are different types of upheavals that happen on this planet that can be catastrophic, they can be mild, ranging anything from mild to severe, depending upon the energy, the level of imbalance, what's going on in the world with the energies around us. And about 12,000 years ago, according to Edgar Casey, at the same point that we are at in the cycle right now, Atlantis was thriving. It was at the height of its accomplishment and achievement. And the poles reversed, the earth began to turn over, and the continent of Atlantis began to break apart and eventually was completely destroyed and sunk beneath the waves of the ocean. But they were not without warning, because unlike the mainstream view of history and civilization and archaeology, I do not believe we are the pinnacle of human accomplishment or the human intellect or level that we have achieved energetically, physically, or in any other manner. I think that many high civilizations have existed before us, and there are plenty of examples of this for anyone who has eyes to see and ears to hear. Thank you for that, Rosie. I feel truly blessed myself. So Atlantis is at the height of their civilization, and the high priest gets wind of what's coming energetically, because again, they're not cave dwellers, right? They are advanced, probably more so advanced than we are, because they had the ability to levitate 20-ton stones using sound. They had the ability to heal the body with sound and extend lifespans far beyond what we are able to today. And many, many other things. Their primary energy source came from crystals, right? So they were most likely much more advanced than what we are today. Thank you for sharing the live, my friend. That really helps me a lot. And yes, Noel, I agree with you. This is lost knowledge. It's not something that is gone. I won't say lost. It's forgotten knowledge. But we are remembering. We are slowly remembering these things. Sound chambers are coming again. Absolutely. I feel that, and I know that it's coming back. Hidden is a good word for that, Rosie. So here's what happened, and how does this involve the pyramids, right? You're most welcome, KK. I'm an Aquarius. I'm also an Aquarius. Could it have been extraterrestrials? I think that depends on your definition of what an extraterrestrial is. But let me continue with this story, according to Edgar Casey. So the high priest of Atlantis caught wind of what was happening, and the entire civilization was warned. So they fled the continent and went to different areas all across the globe. They dispersed. And the primary locations for this mass exodus off the continent of Atlantis, according to Edgar Casey, was primarily North America and Middle America. Some settled in the Caribbean, some settled in South America, but primarily in North America and Middle America. And then, actually, the high priest and his followers went to ancient Egypt, which was largely unsettled at that time, according to him. You are not I am, Jesus is I am. Oh, I really want to dive into that, my friend. I would love to have a few moments to address that, if you would like to stick around for that. If not, I'll address it anyway once I finish this story. So they went to ancient Egypt, and they decided to build rebuild their civilization there, according to Edgar Casey. They picked that location using a number of disciplines, such as astrology, such as energy with the ley lines, the grid of the earth that connects the energy of the earth. There was a high point of intersection at that point. They calculated it mathematically to be the exact center of all landmass on earth. There was numerology that came into to play with this. Numerous disciplines went into all of this, and they all converged on one spot in Egypt, and that's where they settled upon, and that's where they built the Great Pyramid. And why, right? Why did they build the Great Pyramid? Well, Edgar Casey said it was used for a variety of functions, but the primary function of the Great Pyramid, according to Edgar Casey, was to harness the energy of the earth through the energy grid, through the ley lines, and then the pyramid acting as a giant capacitor because it is made of limestone, and limestone is primarily made of quartz, by the way, which is a tremendous capacitor for energy. So it collects and stores up all of this energy and then is focused to a point, and for the intention of bolstering the consciousness of humanity right now. Not for the last 12,000 years, right now. In this generation, 12,000 years after the destruction of Atlantis, they knew it was going to happen again. And they did not want the consciousness of humanity to revert back to older cycles the way that it had numerous times. And so it is there to harness this energy and then boost it and amplify it to expedite our spiritual awakening and our spiritual evolution, to remove the wool from our eyes, to help us transition into higher spiritual evolution. But it was used for much more than that. Andy said, yes, pyramid truth. Love it. The primary use during that time, and for mainly, I'd say probably about 10,000 years, is as a massive center for esoteric knowledge. The Great Pyramid itself was used because of its resonance frequency, because of its collection of energy and focusing it, harnessing it to a point. It was used as an initiation chamber for people to be initiated into the mysteries, the higher advanced esoteric knowledge. People would be led there, and they would be put into this giant 50-ton granite sarcophagus, and the lid would be closed. Right over top where all of this energy is focused, where they would experience a bodily death, essentially. They would be kept in there for 3 days as part of this initiation. And then they would cross over into the spirit world, into the astral realm, where they would have very profound spiritual initiations before being brought back. And once they were brought back and they had seen and lived in the astral as part of the spirit, they had seen that, they would forever be changed. You can't go back to sleep once you are awakened. And that's exactly what this was used for. It was used to fully awaken and elevate the consciousness of initiates, to raise their frequency vibration, to open and activate the chakras, and eventually a Kundalini awakening. But again, the primary function, according to Edgar Casey, was for this generation right now, as a generator of energy to raise the frequency and expedite our spiritual evolution. I've not even come close to keeping up to your guys' comments, and I do apologize for that. I have a friend that was allowed to go into the pyramid. Yes, I do not doubt that one bit. Tremendous energy there. Absolutely tremendous. Very high vibrational. I call it the gauntlet. Can't turn the lights off once they're on. Exactly. It is a very wild story, and it resonates very powerfully as truth with me. Edgar Casey was a freaking rock star. I love that. I personally believe Edgar Casey was a harbinger for the Age of Aquarius. He ushered in the Age of Aquarius. Not just him alone. There was several that preceded the Age of Aquarius by bringing their own specific energy and injecting it into the mass consciousness of the planet. They kick-started the Age of Aquarius. People like Nikola Tesla, right? Edgar Casey, all of those people, they're there helping raise that frequency and vibration. And that's what we're doing here. We're continuing that work. Where can I read Edgar Casey's work? Okay. Blavatsky, yeah. We need to talk about her, Andy. Okay. Here's the thing. When you're talking about Edgar Casey, if you do a Google search and you look up information on Edgar Casey, you will find hundreds of books about Edgar Casey. The most documented psychic of all time. No one else is even anywhere close. And here's why. Not only was Edgar Casey a very profound and talented psychic, but they had the foresight early on to recognize the power and significance of his work. So they began recording his readings by stenographer from the very beginning. And so there are over 14,000 readings that Edgar Casey gave where all of this information came out. Most of them were actually about health and helping people to heal their bodies. That was his true gift. But many different types of information came out through his work. Edgar Casey never wrote any books. That's the short answer. So where can you read his work? The true place to get that is from the source, from this vast body of information with the Edgar Casey readings, which are stored in Virginia Beach, Virginia at the ARE, the Association for Research and Enlightenment. That foundation was actually created through Edgar Casey, through the readings he gave. Spirit advised him to start the ARE, saying that it would be absolutely pivotal in this time as we make the transition into the Age of Aquarius, that it would be a beacon of light for us. And it very much has been. But you can access all 14,000 of those readings and read them, right? They're there at their massive library. If you are a member of the ARE, which I encourage everybody to be, it's pretty reasonable. One of the perks of that is you get access to that electronically. So you can go through and study that all you want to on the internet. And they have really good tools where you can search specific phrases, search keywords. If you want to know anything that Edgar Casey ever had to say about quartz, you can search that and it will pull it all up very quickly and easily. But with that being said, these are all readings that were given over an entire lifetime, right? And it's not like he would talk for 1 year about Atlantis and then switch to another topic. They were very sporadic, and the information came out as it applied at that time. There have been numerous authors who have combed through that massive mountain of knowledge and combined certain parts of it to form coherent idea systems, such as Edgar Casey's concept of the soul, Edgar Casey's concept of reincarnation, Edgar Casey and Atlantis. One of my favorite books that I have that is put together that same way is written by John Van Auken, and this also ties in back to what we were talking about, and this is going to blow your guys' mind. If you've never heard this, buckle, getting ready to go down a rabbit hole. John Van Auken wrote a book based on the readings of Edgar Casey that is called The Great Pyramid Timeline Prophecy. It is based on the idea from the Edgar Casey readings that whenever the Grand Architect and the High Priest of Atlantis built the Great Pyramid, not only did they use multiple disciplines to decide exactly where to build it, exactly how to build it, how to orient it, what type of material to use, and all of that, but they they built it in such a way as that the physical structure lays out a prophecy literally with stone that covers the period of life, the period of time that we find ourselves in right now, leading up to the pole flip, leading up to the full embodiment of the age of Aquarius. And John Van Auken, along with a few other people, he's not the first one to have done this, but in this book he translates this prophecy and follows the timeline of that prophecy, talks about the events that that prophecy covers, many of which have already come to pass. And they were predicted with very precise accuracy, all laid in stone at the foundation of the Great Pyramid. It's absolutely mind-blowing. Now I'm going to try to catch up real quick on my comments, guys. Awesome, Quasar. Interesting. Very interesting. Also the Mayans. Exactly. Jimbo, and they were all talking about the same thing, by the way. The great year. The big cycles. Max, spell his name correctly. Are you talking about Edgar Casey? I assume you're talking about Edgar Casey there. 25 years ago, I named my dog Casey after Edgar. That is awesome. Absolutely pure genius. He also talked about being near water to increase your psychic. Exactly. You're very welcome, Andy. I'm glad that I could share that with you. What is the site again, please? If you just type in edgarcasey.org, that is the web address for the ARE. He certainly was a prophet. There is a reason he was known as the sleeping prophet. That's what happened to your sound last night, whatever you just fixed. I'm not sure what that is. That is so interesting. Thank you for sharing the live, though. I do appreciate that. I signed up for the daily Casey inspiration. Me too, Anna. And they're truly very valuable. I love that they send those first thing in the morning, like 5 o'clock in the morning. That's how I start my day, is by reading my inspirational quote from the work of Edgar Casey. And I find some really powerful synchronicities with what's going on in my life. The Meridian Lines Pyramid. Yes, the Pyramid of Giza, the Great Pyramid. Actually, hang on a second, guys, and I will hold that book up for you so you can see it. So what's the outcome? I would love to get to that. So how do we save humanity in this next pole flip? Well, we're going to talk about that. Definitely going to talk about it. It's all on the music, the math, and the geometry. Absolutely, I love that. I live near a beach. I can't imagine not living near water. Have to be near water. There's lots of waterfalls. He was a very devout Christian. To say that he was simply a Christian would be a massive understatement. Christianity was his life. It was absolutely his life. Edgar Casey dedicated himself to read the Bible cover to cover once for each year of his life. That is a huge dedication. Okay, guys, give me 1 second. Let me grab this book so I can show you. Okay. Sorry about the glare. Can you guys read that? Hello, babe. So, I actually got this book signed. I went to one of the ARE conventions. I was very blessed to be a part of that. And the coolest thing about this is I got to sit down for an hour and a half and have a face-to-face conversation with John Van Auken about this and many other things. And it was absolutely eye-opening, the conversation that we had. It was one of the best conversations I've ever had in my life.
Did you know that?
But as you can probably guess, hang on a second, guys, to restart my music here. As you can probably surmise, based on the title of this book, which is now reversed, it's 2038. He is still active with the ARE, absolutely. 2038 is the date that John Van Auken came to through his translation of the Great Pyramid Timeline Prophecy as the culmination of the pole flip. And I must say, of all of the dates I've ever seen anybody talking about, that one resonates strongly. It is in perfect alignment with the vision that I was shown during my spiritual awakening, and the timing, where I was told it would be in the time of my children's children. That lines up perfectly. Everything that I know about the science, the escalation of the pole flip, the decay rate of the Earth's magnetic field, the polar wander, all of these things align, even the solar cycles, the astrology of that year, everything converges on that point. So the year 2038 to me is a very good prediction for that pole flip scenario. But again, this is something that it's a breadcrumb. Keep leaning into it. Would love to hear about your spiritual awakening and what you saw. I would love to talk about that. I do. This is the frequency of God, 963 hertz. We were listening. We were listening to 888 hertz. Yes, Heather. The poles. Here's the thing. The poles always move. That is nothing abnormal. I've had lives in the past where I've brought up graphics and showed everybody 963 is your favorite. Love it. Listen to that every night. It's definitely very soothing and calming. So the poles always move. But the thing is, they normally kind of wander back and forth like this for thousands and thousands of years, which is what it had been doing, right? Because we can trace that through geology, because there are aspects of geology where magnetism is recorded in the fossil record of the rock. It points to the magnetic north, so we can trace the movement of it long before we were actually tracking it. Since we've been tracking it, it's changed drastically. The massive Carrington event of 1859 happened, massive solar flash, and all of a sudden it went from doing this to racing across the North Pole. The North Magnetic Pole is no longer even stationed in the North Pole. It's somewhere over Siberia. Not only that, but the South Pole has left the continent of Antarctica. They're racing to meet each other. So it's something that's been ongoing for, a long time, over 100 years. It happens differently each time, I'm fairly certain. The best science says that a magnetic excursion can happen in the span of one human lifetime. It's happened at least that quickly in the past. So now that we know it's been going on for well over 150 years already, we know, right, that this could happen at any point. But the biggest indicators we have to say what timing are we looking at is things like I started talking about at the beginning of this live. How strongly is solar flares affecting the poles? Oh wow, Noel, thank you for that. Aw, crazy psycho, I love that. I hate to see you go, my friend. I hope that we see you again. Yes, exactly, Jimbo. The North Pole is pointing towards Siberia now. So you will be what, 66? I don't think I'd ever done the math on that. Let's see. So that would be in 15 years, right? Wow, it's even less than that. Perhaps only 14 years. So wow. No, I would actually be in my mid 50s. I would be in my mid 50s. It varies in both directions over geological time. Exactly. That's a really good answer, David. But one thing that we know for sure is it used to go like this and wobble back and forth. Both poles done that. But they usually don't travel thousands of miles. They usually don't race towards each other. And the closer that they get to each other, the weaker our electromagnetic field gets. And on the opposite side of the Earth, from, let's say, South China Sea, around Thailand, somewhere around in there, is where they're set to meet. Maybe a little bit west of there. On the direct opposite position from that on the Earth, near South America, there's a weak point in the Earth's magnetic field known as the South Atlantic Anomaly that has been growing for quite some time. It originally was a dark spot, a weakness about 20,000 nanoteslas weaker than the rest of the Earth's magnetic field. But now it has expanded tremendously, and it already encompasses... Oh, wow. Thank you for the coral, Noel. That was beautiful, my friend. The South Atlantic Anomaly, the hole in the Earth's magnetic field, now encompasses almost the entire continent of South America. It's massive, and it is lost even more strength. So that is a really good indicator of the speed of the Earth's pole flip, because the weaker it gets, the bigger the hole gets, the closer our poles are getting to each other. It's a good check of balances there. Oh, thank you, Heather. Thank you for the hand hearts. Absolutely was cool, coral. Never hear about the Bermuda Triangle anymore. Yeah, it's not something that is talked about a whole lot. Okay, I don't remember, guys. Someone refresh my memory. Did I finish that train of thought all of the way, or did I get sidetracked? We talked about Atlantis, and we brought it all the way to the Great Pyramid and the Great Pyramid timeline prophecy, how the Atlanteans literally built that to help us in this generation. Thank you for the gift, Laura. I appreciate you. To expedite our spiritual awakening and our spiritual evolution, but also set prophecy in stone to warn us of these things with the timing of these things. I think I did. I think I pretty much finished what I was going to say on that. And what happens when they meet. Good question, Vincent. Here's the thing. We weren't recording this the last time that it happened. We have conjecture, and we have best guesses. But according to modeling that I've seen, what happens the closer that the poles get to each other, the weaker the field gets, until a point where there's like a critical mass that is reached. And then the field kind of blips out for a brief period of time, and then the poles disappear and then reappear on opposite sides of the globe again. Kind of like whenever you're spinning a top and it begins to wobble, it gets really chaotic, and then it'll right itself and begin spinning correctly again. And then that's when the polarity is reversed, right? The polarity will be the opposite of what it is now, according to that best theory. So how do we save the world? That's where we were going towards that. Maybe that's why I started menopause. Okay, let me catch up on my comments real quick. And I want to talk about how do we save the world, right? What an amazing time to be alive. Absolutely, KK, and I'm glad that you feel that way. And I think that's why there's 8 billion souls incarnated on this planet right now. Everybody wants to be here for the big show. right? This is us moving into the age of Aquarius, into the next golden age. We've got front row tickets, right? We're all here, but we're not just watching this happen. We're making this happen, and we're correcting the imbalance, and we are here to build the new earth, to build the new world of the golden age. And that goes into how do we save humanity, right? In Florida, I hear about it often. Interesting. Lemuria. Yeah. So should we all seek higher ground? Pole shift would cause huge tsunamis. Yes, absolutely. Good night, Noel. Keep having to go out and return. It might be the feed, guys, and I do apologize about that. Why does this happen? It's good for Brock. Also, there are loved ones on the other side who are awake and will be helping us in very real ways. Very, very good point there, my friend. Actually, Arizona is one of the better places, Heather, from the information that I've seen. Okay. Sorry, I'm going to burn a little bit of stage, clear the air a little bit. Higher ground is a good idea, right? Because we do have geological record of things like massive floods, of the ocean invading the continents. This, by the way, is why you have the flood myths, the flood legends, the biblical flood. In prophecy, according to numerous civilizations, including the Hopi and the Maya and several other, they say that the earth has been, they've been cleansed 4 times, right? Sorry, I got that wrong. The Ozarks. That is where I find myself, Jimbo. Astrocartography. Excellent advice, Andy. I've not personally looked into that in relation to this, but that is a really good point. Good grief. Mercury retrograde just kicked me in the head. I lost my train of thought, guys. Where was I going? And circle back to my comments. I'm told nothing lower than 100 meters above sea level will be safe. I would certainly go for that at a bare minimum. Okay, so before we get too far into this conversation, this is where I was going. It was asked how to save humanity. I think this is part of a natural cycle, guys. And I avoid talking about this as much as possible for a good reason. You might be in my live 50 times and not hear me talk about this because it can incite fear and spread negativity. And that is working against how do we save people? How do we save the world, right? I do not think this will be the end of the world. We have lived through it every single time. So I don't see this as the apocalypse, the end of the world. I see it as the apocalypse as to be revealed, revelation. The veil, in my opinion, now this is my personal opinion and I've been given this intuitively. I cannot back this up by science. I've not heard anybody else talking about this. But I believe Spirit has revealed to me that the veil is linked to, I believe that the veil is linked to the Earth's electromagnetic field. And that as our field weakens, the veil thins. And there will be a moment when the field essentially disappears for a period of time before popping back up and being stronger than it has been for a long time. When that happens, we will see things that we have never seen. We will intermingle with the spirit realm and with the astral and with many other dimensions of awareness, right? There are prophecies that say in that time, men's hearts will fail them from fear because of those things. This is part of a natural cycle. And just like you said, it's basically nature's reset switch. I like to look at this like a forest that is tangled and strangled with overgrowth, with densely packed death and decay. The plants can't get enough sunlight, they can't get enough nutrients, because they're just under the stranglehold of overgrowth, right? And then there's a lightning strike, and it causes a forest fire. For the forest and the creatures of the forest, that it can be a terrifying spectacle. But on the other side of that, there is new life, because the overgrowth, the brush, the dead decaying things are burnt up, and then they become fertilizer for the soil. The soil becomes much more fertile for new life. It can breathe again. They can get enough nutrients and vitamins and sunlight, and then the forest explodes, and is much healthier than it has been in a very long time. Thank you for the roses, Kelly. I appreciate you. And that's what this is about for me. It is about a restoration of balance. And so whenever you say, how can we help people? By doing what we're doing right here, right now. By taking action towards our truth, living our truth. Whatever it is that's true for you, live that. Don't just think about it. Don't put it on the back burner. That thing that you've always wanted to do it, because it raises your frequency. That is you living your authenticity. The more that you embody your authenticity, the more you shine your light into the world, the more effects that has on the world around you. It is contagious. It infects everyone around you with that positive, uplifting, life-giving vibration, right? And then it becomes contagious, and then it infects everyone, right? And then we reach critical mass. By doing that, we are correcting the imbalance that necessitates this cyclical disaster. Essentially, we are acting as gardeners and going out and clearing the overgrowth from the forest by doing that. It's one of the original concepts of Hermeticism. As above, so below. As within, so without. Your world is a reflection of what is internal to you. So if we see imbalance in the world, that means we need to work on balance. If you want to awaken the entire world, fully awaken yourself. As within, so without. So then the question becomes not how do we save the world? How do we save ourselves? How do you do that? If this is a spiritual thing, if this is an energetic thing, well, then you do the hard work. You do the shadow work, right? You heal those wounds within you. You begin to live your truth. Live authentically. Shine your light into the world, unafraid, unashamed. Shine it with brilliance, like you were designed to shine it. And in doing so, you're saving the world. Oh, thank you, Kelly. Okay, let me try to catch up on my comments now. They can come together at certain times and locations across the earth. Some will move on, some will still be here to survive. I do agree with you, Rosie. Unfortunately, I don't think that everyone is ready for that leap. I don't think everyone is ready to do the hard things. But I do think everyone is being faced with a decision now. Now. Not tomorrow. Not in 2038. Now. We are being asked. We're being asked to evolve. We're being asked to bring our light to the world, to embody Christ consciousness and the law of one. It's about coming together to spread light and illuminate. Thank you, Kelly, for all those roses. I didn't realize how many you sent. I was so busy talking. Pluto, Phoenix energy confirmed. I love it. Phoenix rising from the ashes. Authentic and true. You are most welcome, Anna. Self-love, mirror mindfulness. I love that, Andy. We need so much more of that in the world. Make and execute a personal bucket list. Here's one of the secrets that I've learned in this world. If you don't really know what your thing is, what is your specific function? I talk a lot about Socrates' philosophy, that every single one of us has a specific function to fulfill, to bring and gift to the world. And that if I don't fulfill my specific function, the world will never have it. No one else is capable of fulfilling my specific function. That's because my authenticity is a reflection of an individual fractal of God, a specific frequency that only I can bring to the world, my frequency. And so if you're trying to find out how you embody that, what that is, what is the one thing that you would want to do if money was not a factor? If money was completely out of the picture, whatever it takes for you to imagine that. Say you're a billionaire, you no longer have to work, you tire of doing the everybody who's lived the struggle, right? They would be like, well, if money was not a factor, I'd go on a spending spree, or I would live on a tropical island my entire life, or whatever. But beyond that, right? Once the novelty of those things wore off, what is it that lights you with fire? What is it that ignites your spark? What is it that when you do it, doesn't take energy from you? It gives you energy, regardless of how much of yourself you pour into it. That is your thing. That is your specific function. It starts within each of us, and it's not easy. Exactly. You start with yourself. I have been newly exploring different parks and places to walk to get to know this new state. It's so fulfilling. I love that. Is it common to crave so much info and not partaking of the regular way of life? Probably not common, but I wouldn't say that it's not. First of all, I don't believe in normal, right? To me, normal is no such thing. What you can say is average, right? Does average people crave so much information? No. I was purified in April. It about killed me. I'm just now in the last few months of getting back to me. Well, congratulations on that, my friend. Oh, the rest was cut off. Okay. Hate. Eliminate hate and fear and restore balance in ourselves and in turn all of us. Precisely. Awareness, becoming aware of being aware. I love that. Help others in a bigger way. I would love to make common sense common again. KK says I would restore old homes for single moms and families without one. That's beautiful. Andy says if money wasn't a factor, I'd have a Tesla and hire contractors to build sound chambers. Wow. I love that. Is there a book you'd recommend? Oh, wow, Ken. You'll have to give me a topic on that. I have many books I would recommend. Give me a topic, and I will recommend a book to you. Normal is just a setting in your washer. Tammy, I don't think I've ever heard that one before, but I like it. Do you practice healing others? Chris, I am getting to that point. I am being led in that direction. I've received intuitive nudges from my spirit guides that is one of my spiritual gifts, but it is not something that I have fully embodied or awakened to yet. But it is certainly in the direction that I'm headed. Thank you for your response there, Brock. Conscious pods with solar power delivering messages from other high vibe dimension beings. Wow. Oh, thank you, Elaine. Thank you for the support. Andy, I love your idea, my friend. I absolutely love the idea. That would absolutely be profound. Make inexpensive houses healthy. If a house is affordable, it's usually unhealthy. I'm with you on that, April Mama. That is a huge thing. I see you having this gift. Well, thank you, Chris. I appreciate you sharing that. Oh, fun. I'm being prodded into healing as well. I'm not surprised, Brian. I feel that. I do. I feel that. So I want to share something with you guys if you're open to it. I'm going to pause my background music for a moment. And I want to attempt this. I don't know how well this is going to work. But one of my beautiful gifts that I am so excited about is a tuning fork set that I have wanted for a very long time. This is 128 hertz here. Oh, thank you, Kelly. Thank you for that. This is a very healing, balancing, and grounding frequency. And I want to see if the sound can be picked up over the live. I don't know how well my microphone will pick this up, but I want to try this, so let me know. Loud and clear. Oh, I love that. I was hoping you guys would be able to hear that. This one brings almost immediate relaxation, by the way. I have not got to play around with these very much at all, but it is tremendously relaxing. This one is primarily used for healing, and that's actually what triggered me to remember to do this. I do wish it was longer sustained, but it's absolutely beautiful. I love that. Made me take a big sigh. The song gave you truth bumps. I love it. Absolutely, Anna. I've got to experience that a little bit with this 128. I also like the other frequencies. 256 is really big for me too. What's the other noise? I'm not sure what you're picking up. It is raining here. Perhaps that's what you're hearing. Arlena just said, I just heard terrible news from our friend Kelly G. Can we pray for her niece, Eliza? I would absolutely love to do that for anybody who would like to participate. Sending healing, love, and light and positive energy for Eliza with nothing nefarious attached, only what is in their highest good. Please do so if you're willing to. Just put that in a singing bowl. Put the stem on your third eye. Absolutely, I love that. Yes, it is rain. The tin bowl, that is an excellent idea. Okay. One moment before I do that, I want to do something. We are going to listen to 594 hertz, the frequency of the heart chakra. I'm going to turn this up briefly. Hopefully that's not too loud for you guys. She'll need healing of the soul. All right, thank you guys for anybody who chose to participate in that, and for those of you who was willing to stick through that. Yes, brother, you just confirmed you are a light healer. Well, thank you, Chris. I appreciate you. My feed is getting really slow again. I'm afraid the live is going to freeze on me. Kind of cool to have the rain and hear the frequencies. Yeah, I love that. Thank you guys for participating. I really appreciate you. That wounds my soul. Thank you for sharing that with the group, Arlena. I do really appreciate the opportunity to be able to help in any way that we can. I think we are breaking TikTok. I don't know how to handle this energy. Let's go. I've stayed away from any of that nonsense. But it is a very touchy topic, and my heart goes out to anyone and everyone that was faced with that decision to make, because it was a very unfair decision. Even if somebody was able to see through that situation and see it for what it was, they were put in a situation to make a choice between, where do I draw the line in the sand? Do I run the risk of affecting the health of my loved ones because of my decision? How would I feel if I brought something home and then killed my mother because I made this conscious decision not to participate in that? And that is a really unfair situation. And so my heart goes out to anyone who is forced to make that decision either way. My hands got really hot during this time. I feel that right now, actually, April Mama. I can feel the heat. Negative ions are so refreshing, definitely. Lives pause for a second and then right as rain. She needs to be grounded. Sorry to hear this. Oh, Aaron, thank you so much for that. You know I love you guys too. This community, you guys mean so much to me. We are truly a beacon of light, and I absolutely love that. Yeah, energy is crazy, especially during group prayer. I definitely feel that. Thank you all for choosing to participate in that. I just about wasn't able to speak there for a moment. I got very powerful truth bumps there. Chris says, yes, I also pray for those to be healed, spirit, mind, and body. Absolutely. Thank you all for participating in that. For any of you guys who don't know, by the way, interesting. I just got a notification they were restricting my live for people underage. I'm not sure what that was all about. If you guys did not know, these are the primary healing chakras for energy healing in the palms of your hand. I love the idea of some group meditation on a regular basis. I would 100% be down with that. I would even be down for doing a guided meditation, or whatever that looks like for you guys. I would like to keep something like that fluid and not structured with control, because it flows more naturally. The energy flows that way. This is not something that I can force. I can't do it on command, but whenever I'm in the moment, much like the difference whenever I'm speaking on my live from my consciousness versus whenever I get into a flow state and I begin to channel my intuition. The difference is night and day. So I love the idea of doing meditation and or prayer for anybody who would like to participate in that. I love that idea so much. But I definitely would like to keep it organic as much as possible. Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate you saying that. I have heard that several times. Definitely the best group of people. And ditto, Noel. Thank you, Rosie. I appreciate you. Thank you, Brock. Oh, wow. Thank you, Kelly. Good evening, Christine. Don't want interference. Thank you, Kelly. Fluid situation. I'm clearing the energy. You must heal through the light. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate your guidance. My live is so glitchy right now. I've never seen it get that bad. You just explained to me what I go through. I can't control it, but I do notice my higher self speaking. I think that's a fairly common thing, really. Live is all good. Okay, well, I'm glad it's working for you guys. It's probably just on my end. My battery's almost dead, so that might have something to do with it. Thank you, Andy. I hope you have a fantastic night, my friend. Thank you for the donut, Kelly. Thank you, my friend. Sorry if I said a wrong word to get you a warning. Oh, no worries, Arlena. It wasn't anything where it was me being punished or anything like that. I think it did pick that word up, perhaps, and then flag it for this live to be moved to age restricted so that there's not children in here, and that's probably for the best for that. Just heard chanting when you struck the tuning fork. Brian, I wasn't going to say anything, but I felt, and you might have actually seen a weird look on my face right after I struck it. I felt that. I felt my entire chest vibrating with it. And that's the first time it's ever done that to me before. And then you said you heard chanting. That's really interesting. I'm not sure what's going on there. But I am reaching the end of this live for tonight. And if you guys would like to stick around for this, I would like to pull a card from my beautiful new Crow Tarot deck that I've been working with the energies. I would like to pull one for the collective and then share that with you, and share the story of that card with you guys if you would like that. Chest vibration was intense. So you guys felt that too. I love that. Okay. Bear with me, guys. I'm going to give this a good shuffle because I've been doing some readings with this, and I do want to make sure that I have that energy cleared. I'm going to try to shuffle these away from the microphone so it's not deafening. Thank you, KK. I appreciate that. Okay, Spirit, messages for the collective. Thank you for that advice, Chris. That's an excellent idea. Bear with me just one moment, guys. As an Aquarius, at times it's easy to not notice how airy my energy is. I tend to live in the clouds most times, so I'm sure some of you guys can sympathize with that. I know several of you guys resonate with it, so. Okay, spirit energy messages for the collective. You got a Capricorn in the house. Just saw something dart. Interesting. Aquarius moon. That is an interesting moon sign. I love that. You guys are going to love this card. Okay. We're going to step this one up a notch. I wish I could get this to sustain more. Aries in the house. I am an Aries rising. Okay, guys. Now look at this. I absolutely love this Crow Tarot deck. The symbology of it is absolutely on point. Put your kids to work. Brian, that is a fantastic idea. Thank you for that. The energy from that would be tremendous anyway. Children are naturally super high vibrational. Okay, so I want to hold this up, and then I want to read the story from this guidebook from the Crow Tarot. I know that that's backwards, and I apologize, but I want to read this, guys. Hopefully I can hold that steady enough for you. The crow stands on the river bank, her back to the gold cups that symbolize material wealth and possessions. She is ready to fly off and leave it all behind. The moon represents her shadow self and her true nature, one she tries to suppress but cannot deny. The Eight of Cups asks that you look inward and discover what it is you want from your life, what is important to you. This card suggests that although it will take considerable strength to let go and walk away, it may be necessary to achieve true happiness. And yes, I felt that, Aaron. Oh, wow. I don't know if you guys can pick that up on camera, but I am like covered head to toe in the truth bumps there. Oh, thank you, Kelly. Love the train, my friend. That was beautiful. Does that not hit home? 100% for me. I absolutely love this deck. I've never connected anywhere near like this with any tarot deck. I've had several. And Deborah did me a great service when she blessed me with this deck. It is truly a very powerful connection. I love that. I'm glad that you guys enjoyed that. I would like to begin incorporating more stuff like this with our lives, especially putting the powerhouse of our collective light to work and helping to do good in this world. Any way that we can possibly spread that love and light, through prayer, through meditation, through sending healing energy out to the universe. Thank you, Aaron. I would love to do as much of that as we can, and I hope that you guys are on board with that. Oh, wow, thank you, Aaron. You guys are so awesome. I can't brag enough on you guys. You are glowing with light, brother. Thank you so much, Chris. I do really feel that my vibration is super high right now. And it's because of you guys. Thank you, Brock. I appreciate you. Kelly, you trying to make me blush tonight? You guys are doing a good job. Thank you, Heather. I enjoyed participating in that as well. That was a very strong message for me. For those of you who know what I'm going through, certainly a very strong message. Thank you, Brock. Thank you for the hand hearts, my friend. Speechless. I know the feeling. All of the light healers in this live. We have an absolutely beautiful collective here. Again, I might be a little biased, but the absolutely best, hands down. Thank you, Rosie. I appreciate you. Truth Tribe, I don't mind one bit. In fact, I have shared several times over the last couple of weeks, but unfortunately, I'm probably gonna have to save that for the next live. I hate to do that to you, but the battery on my phone is getting ready to die. So, Aaron, I will. Thank you for reminding me. I will upload this card and the story that goes along with it in the Telegram Inner Circle group for anybody who's interested. Not bad at all. Oh, thank you, April Mama. I love each and every one of you guys. My spidey sense is booming in this chat. I love it. Fantastic way to start my weekend. Absolutely. Your vibe is rising going each session. I'm glad that you said that, Anna, because I feel that way. I truly do. And I really think that you guys are feeding me in many different ways. You guys are truly giving me fulfillment, and my soul needs that. It's been missing that. And I really appreciate you guys for that. I am eternally grateful for you. Thank you, Elaine. Flabbergasted. Thank you, Brian. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for bringing your time and your energy and attention to this. And thank you for your willingness and your loving, kind hearts to bring that energy here and share it with the world and help to correct the imbalance and spread that love and light with the universe. I am eternally grateful for each and every one of you guys. I appreciate Daisy letting you share with us. I do too. Thank you, Quasar. Thank you, Jimbo. I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for the roses. Brian, actually, these were a gift. The tuning fork set is a gift from Apple Spice Blends. She sent me a whole bunch of blessings, and I'm just completely blown away by that. I'm really speechless. I did not expect any of that, and it has completely shifted my energy. So thank you so much for that, Kelly. That was absolutely beautiful. So incredibly proud of you. Thank you, Aaron. My soul brother from another mother. That was your spirit finding the gifts for you. Well, thank you for participating in that, Kelly. You are truly a blessing, my friend. I love each and every one of you guys. I hope you have a beautiful night and get some excellent rest and peace to your soul. Thank you, Aaron. I can't wait for our soul group live tomorrow. I hope you all have a great night, and I will see you then. Absolutely, Noel. I agree on that. Thank you, Aaron. I love you guys. Good night.